bought some new t-shirts for work, but I figured, why break rich tradition? Put on the Mr. Green, right? When I get that 500-pound deadlift, that's when I'll tear it off, right? Let's see here. Oh, it's so comfy. It's barely hanging in there. Okay, oh shit. So yeah, I'm at my sister's in Barrie, Ontario. Um, okay, let's just get into it, and I'll probably edit the fuck out of this. Don't normally like to do that. I like everything to come off as spontaneous and honest, and but there's a lot I want to cover. So yeah, I apologize for the chops. Okay, so let's see, where did we leave off? Healing. I was just getting ready to leave Ottawa, right? That's pretty much that last video. So I actually came up with a plan. I was gonna head out east. I was gonna hopefully, I didn't hear from him at the time, but hopefully connect with a childhood friend of mine who lives out there. Grew up as kids. Reconnected in, I believe it was 2008. I took a trip out east to see him with my wife. He was in the military. Did 3 tours: Bosnia, Syria, and don't remember the third. When I went to see him, he was pretty fucked up. He was pretty fucked up. Not that I wasn't either. We lost touch for about 8 or 9 years. He texted me out of the blue. As probably 2016, so the height of I don't want to say the in the middle of the most traumatic thing, because there was a lot more of that to follow. But we definitely found each other in both of our darkest places, right? His traumas from the war and shit, even as kids growing up, his wasn't the best. I read some of those texts in 2016, and yeah, so I was really looking forward to seeing him and seeing how life had turned out for him. And my hope was that he had got through it all. He was happy, and that I could sit down and have a conversation with him, and he would understand everything that I was saying to him, and understood what I was going through. I think I just needed some validation from him, saying, "You're doing good. You're on the right track." Especially because I took it upon myself to do things myself, my way, and there was a very specific reason for that. So it was very unconventional, and I was lucky to survive it. but I think with seeing my friend, uh, having that conversation, coming out the other side of it, I just wanted to, like I said, get some kind of validation from someone who's been through some shit, and the man standing across from him sounded sounded I was in the right direction, or I came out the other side okay. Um, so that was my hope, and I was determined to get out there, because Ottawa became definitive for so many reasons. Um, did I subconsciously was I subconsciously trying to find myself a way out? Um, Interesting question. Based what I've researched so far about psychology, our subconscious runs us. As much as we like to think we know what we're doing, and we're self-aware of what we're doing, trust me, we're not. We're fucking programmed. We're fucking programmed. So, sometimes that programming needs to be changed. And that can be difficult, and that can lead to other things like healing. So yeah, so with $450 in my pocket, and a rim that two cracked rims that were losing air, off I went. I had to stop every 40 minutes to put air in the tire. It was 13-hour trek, took me 3 days. So it was interesting. The first couple of nights sleeping in the car, bit of adjustment. But I found myself feeling pretty damn good. Um, we're in a lot of distractions. I had a lot of distractions in Ottawa. Um, None of them were necessarily negative. Um, Things just, I needed some absolutes in some areas. One area was out of my control. I just had to wait that out. Once I was freed of that obligation, then I was freer to make a more um, long-term decision. So, um, there's no loose ends for me there. So there would never be a sense of things being unfinished. Does that make sense? So going on with a new life, whatever baggage I had left, um, there'd be no sense. There would be no feeling of that something's unfinished, right? Um, that includes my relationship with Nora. Still friends. Everything's chill. It's unfortunate that we couldn't get through our shit together and come out the other side of that. That's probably, I don't see it as a failure. Um, it's just, it would have been nice, right? Because um, as much as we have to kind of heal on our own and figure our own shit out, the romantic in me sees, it'd be nice for two people to grow together, right? Um, Not the saying that, after healing, and oh God, I hate that fucking term, that there's still not room to grow. But there's something very romantic about two people evolving together and getting through some really hard shit. Couples don't make it. They evolve differently, and off they go. Right? It'd be nice. It would have been nice to get through all that and spend the next 60 years with someone, right? Because that relationship, as much as it is my friend, it developed into something a lot more, right? I'm talking from my perspective. She's a very close person, and that's part of her healing journey. So, um, what she was dealing with internally, maybe she'll reveal that someday. Maybe she won't. But most couples just don't make it, right? They can't. They can't get through that stuff, you know. So it would have been nice. It would have been nice to do that because we didn't end on anything negative, right? So it's like this. It's like this. Most relationships, there's bitterness or there's resentments or unresolved issues. Like there's just negative energy that leaves most of these relationships. There's no negative energy. Text the other day, miss you too, and so besides that, I'm free to hang my hat somewhere else. And that plan was out east. It was a sound plan until my finances took a bump in the road. So I couldn't stay out there. But I tell you, the time that I was out there, I never felt better in my life. Even though I was living in my car and I was eating tuna and shit, and I was making it work. I would sleep right through the night. I'd go to the gym a couple times a day. I'd shower at the gym. I was developing a really fucking solid routine, and I felt really, really good about it. And I just knew it would be just a matter of time. Let me decompress, just get my head straight, get everything with the way I want it, and then I could start figuring out what I want to do with the rest of my life as far as a career. Because at that time, the money I was receiving on EI was enough to do that, and I thought that was the healthy approach. Where I was hanging my hat, it didn't matter. I was in a fucking good place, right? And I had till November to figure that shit out. Whether we go back to school, do I go back driving a truck? Just to give myself some time to figure out what the best direction to take, and that's the position that I was in, and I felt fantastic about it. Unfortunately, my finance situation changed with EI, and I was forced to make a decision. Like, I can't stay out here. What do I do? I can't come back in Ontario because of, well, the warrant. So it was like I called my sister up and I said, "Okay, you got a favor to ask? I need to come back to Ontario, and because of the situation I was in, I had to start working. And Toronto has tons of trucking jobs, right? I mean, it's just, that was the situation I was in. So I said, can you handle me coming there if you know I'm living in the car? I'm not asking to come live with you. That's not what I need. I just need to know that you can handle me sleeping in the car. Trust me, I'm going to be fine. But I need you to not worry because I have to come back here for work." Because I was still struggling with finding the right job, right? It's not that I didn't know what I needed. I was just trying to find the job that can provide that for me. So, if that took 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more jobs, then this is the place to do that, to take, to figure that out, because there's lots to choose from. So it would have been a lot easier for me not to find myself trapped within a trucking lifestyle and making room for the things in my life that I need, like bodybuilding, healthy relationships, So off I went, right back to Ontario, coming to my sister's. She says, "No, I want you to come and stay here with me." And there's a full house, is that something I'm going to be able to adapt to? carrying a lot less baggage now. There's a lot less on my mind, so I'll probably have a lot more patience. It was surprising. Healing, fucking finding yourself, understanding people, understanding psychology, reading about psychology. Uh, a lot better than I expected, even under not the best of circumstances. Um, it's a full house. My sister has her problems just like everybody else. And it was interesting to see how I handled that, as a guest, as a brother, as an uncle, as a granduncle. um, and then I seen where all the work went, you know. Yeah, it was quite noticeable. I wouldn't say the change in myself, just a better version of myself. Um, Next stop. This is probably where I'm gonna do the next chop. The mirror. Lots of clarity in that statement. Understanding yourself is understanding the people around you. That's the best way to do it, and that's what I was unknowingly doing. Like I had known, you know, it's a weird thing. I fell into. I didn't even mean to do this healing or fucking um this wasn't something that was planned. I was telling my sister it was something that was kind of like forced into. Um the time I put into trying to understand Nora, from love to mental illnesses, because she suffers some things, I think ADHD, and but when you look at the psychology of it, you understand all of her other issues, right? What it's like to be a woman, compounded with childhood trauma, abuse. So putting all that energy into her, it was like um, it was like understanding myself. It was the wildest fucking thing, and I didn't really realize it at the time, which is cool. I didn't realize it until afterwards. I'm like, oh, okay, I get that now. I understand that now. I think what was confusing for me, at first is because they say, what you attract your mirror, it should be the exact opposite, right? So for me, being alpha or protector, whatever you want to label my values, principles, characteristics as a man, the aggressor, um, what I need is the nurturer, right? So, but what ended up happening is I end up falling in love and being with women who are the exact opposite of that, right? So, what confused me is, well, why was I so attracted? Why did that, not that I didn't see it, okay, the man I used to be, right, would have needed a nurturer, okay? We're just gonna get complicated. Um, the man I was needed the nurturer, okay? Still am that man, but now, however, I'm more wiser or educated or self-aware. Um, so as that was happening, I'm thinking, okay, well, this mirror thing doesn't work because she still is good for me. As much as she shouldn't be, she is. It's all, and that's because with the cocaine, I was able to let's say focus on what was good and ignore what was negative. Um, and it worked for me, and it worked that way for a very, very long time. Um, I think what happened was, oh, there's so much to unpack here. Just I find myself going all over the place. It's hard to focus on one thing. This is why you go to school for fucking 8 years and not read a couple of books. um, it just didn't like I understood the mirror aspect of it. It just took me a while to figure out how that applied to me. I think that would be the best way to articulate that. Um, and cocaine definitely played a big part in that. Um, there was a lot I did in my relationship with her to protect myself from certain biases. Like, I always made sure that, and her too, she was very helpful, maintain those boundaries, especially when it came to going all the way, right? And I'm glad we both had the discipline to prevent that because it does just go moving forward. Um, it's something that you can say that you didn't give to everyone. You something new you can give to someone new. I think that's kind of the thought process behind it. Is like, okay, well, when I come out of this other side, I have all this to offer, plus I have this to offer you as well. So there's a psychology there, I think. Um, I'm understanding her mental illness, which in turn helps me understand mine, which we'll get to later. Understanding her traumas, which helped me understand mine. Um, Understanding how I love her, tells me a lot. So it really does. If you really want to understand yourself, you just focus on that person you really care about and just fucking dissect them as much as possible. And you'll get a lot of answers that way about yourself. What else did I learn through that? And roles, one of the big things was that I had a real hard time with coming out of the hospital was the world changed and I didn't realize it changed because there was a lot I didn't remember. So um, being autistic, um, um, things have to fit. um, and once things fit and the world makes sense in this little puzzle factory, or I like to call it, I like to think of it as a jigsaw puzzle. I tried to explain to my sister, when I go to her, I says, well, where do you see yourself in 5 years? She didn't have an answer. Okay, well, I can't remember what she says, but for me, I told her, it says, for me, um, my feeling is my destination. There's a feeling that I'm working towards. I'm not sure what it is. I just know when I get there that's the right, and that feeling tells me that everything's fitting. Like a puzzle, and you just keep putting the pieces back together. uh, before the before the accident, regardless of how anyone viewed my life, all the pieces fit. All the pieces fit. There was no confusion, right? Um, what else? Yeah, so like friends and family, um, work. Um, you go through all these things, and you're thinking, why isn't anything fitting for me here? What am I missing? Okay, that means I have to change. I have to adapt to them. That wasn't working because what I was fighting against was myself. So um, I didn't realize I was doing that. I'm trying to change and adapt to what I was seeing, but I kept failing, and things didn't add up. And I didn't. Well, if they're like this, then I need to be like this. But the world had changed, or women and men's roles changed too. So that was confusing. Well, how does that work? Like, because if I do this, everything's all fucked up. So that's when I started um, not changing who I was, just trying to make myself better. And once I started doing that, things became a lot clearer and a lot easier. You don't fight your true self, whatever that is, and you'll only find that that person under really traumatic, like if you how does that how do I word that? Everyone's how you act under duress or extreme conditions, that's who you really, really are. And so for myself, I looked at it like, okay, well, I'm getting all worked up because I'm fighting towards this. I'm fighting for this. Well, okay, well, that's who you really are then. You know, don't don't fight that. Accept you. That's you as a person. So once you start accepting who you really are, then you can find a way to make that person more adaptable, whether it be through healing, through and then you'll find your niche in life and your place, and you won't worry about all the places where you shouldn't be, and you won't worry about what anyone else thinks because you found your lane, you found your spot, because that's who you truly are. So I think it's good advice to not change. Don't fuck with that person until you find out who that person really is, and that can take a lot of fucking a lot of going back, right? Your childhood, and it's true. There is no denying that. I think there was two schools of thought, psychology, Jung and Freud, both having a different uh, idea on all that. Um, but I think for me, you have to go even a step further. Understanding your childhood is one thing. Understand your parents. Understand my father. Understand my mother. Who were they? What did they go through? I try and put together as much information on that. Okay, then how did that affect me? And then then you just kind of build up from there. So once you do that, it's pretty definitive. There's mental illnesses. There's definitely a big spectrum there. Um, so that can be a little trickier. I still think myself personally that a lot of that is environment based. Um, and once you secure that environment, I find that those mental illnesses will dissipate, and you can get the true nature of what you're actually dealing with. Maybe that's a trauma or something. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of fucking work. I guess in a way I was fortunate because I was put in a position where I had no choice. I had to take this road. Um, so in a sense, I'm grateful for the accident, and maybe at that time that was my exact thought process at the time. You know, I can't continue on without her, um, but at the same time, I can't continue on as myself. So, seatbelt, okay, to come out at the end of this, because I think that trauma compounds, right? And at some point, well, it continually damages us, right? And we block and bury and block and bury. It changes our characteristics, or or it changes who we are. Um, but at some point, there has to be a cliff, right? Either it's another trauma that compounds you to force you to take action and deal with shit, or you go off the fucking cliff, right? Um, I struggled with that, like, because I care a lot about the people in my life, and especially now I'm having a more well-rounded perspective. There's things that I see and I think, yeah, I know where that's gonna go. I know where that's gonna go. I know where that's headed. Trust me, you haven't seen nothing yet. You got your plate full and you don't even realize it. So, and you can tell that person blue in the face. You can have a conversation. That person will have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Something I've learned with, especially with my sister. Nora was a little difficult. We didn't have those type of conversations that I wanted to, which was a catch-22 because it forced me to think. But at the same time, it didn't help our relationship to evolve. So there still was a lot of great benefit there, and talking to my sister, who is a good communicator, a lot more life experience now. So having the conversations I didn't have with Nora, I'm having with my sister. So, and which is fantastic because even though it's brother and sister, it's still man woman. So the dynamic is of man and woman still there. So it was like some of the best conversations I ever had. Some she didn't fully understand. Some were very surprising for her. Some were even more surprising for her, especially regarding family. That was a tough one to put together. We had a really hard conversation, and I told, and this kind of hurt her, but this is what you have to do. The hard conversations are how we get to the next level and evolve as a family. My version of what family is different than what Michelle's version of family is. My mom's and my father's and my dad. Everyone has their perspective of what family means to them, just like love. How we give and receive it. Everyone has a different perspective, and this is what I tried to explain to my sister, which is hard because we were different people and different life experiences, and we have different perspectives. So in 1998, was not 1998. It was an early. When was this? No, let's go back. So I told her, you showing up at a hospital was probably the hardest and worst day of my life. And she just, gave me this fucking look. Because with her being there, okay, let me take you back a little further. So, my mentor Max, told me, he says, if we're gonna do this, it's all in, and you have to let go of your family, because family has boundaries, families have limits, and what you're um, what you're about to get into, um, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So you're gonna have to push them away, and you're gonna have to find closure in that. Now, as my sister said, did Mash brainwash you? Were you in a cult? It's not like that. I had a choice. I had a choice. I had to go through that with my father as well. In order to do what I needed to do with Max, I had to trust Max in a way that I need to trust my own father. Well, can't do that with him if I have no closure with my own father, right? So I had to figure out a way to let go of that, and deal with that situation. It has nothing to do with cutting family off. It's the perception what family really means, you know. So I adapted that notion, of all in, right? You just, so her coming back into my life, my views of family and it was going to be very difficult to come back, right, from that. And it was really hard on my mom and me and my sister, especially the last 8 months. You know, I texted them. I said, "Listen, like, because I had a pretty good sense what I was in for, because there was, a lot fucking going on, and I was getting tired of fucking trying to explain why I did this and why I did that, why I did this, because because in my view, okay, we're family. I'm going to tell you everything. I'll tell you everything. That quickly became a mistake. I shouldn't have said nothing. But at the same time, I'm trying to get close to my family again. And we have very different perspectives on how to do that, because their views are different. Well, if you want a better life, you need to do this. If you want a better life, you need to do that. And I want this for you. I want that for you. I don't understand what you're doing. This whole fucking big process, right? So I knew there was a huge disconnect, on our perspective of what family meant. So I just said, don't take this the wrong ways. I love you guys. But don't fucking call me. I love you, and I'll call you when I'm done. I'll call you when I'm ready. Um, you know, um, and that's tough, right? Your family can be judgmental. You know, it's fuck. I've worked just as harder on my family relationships than I have in my personal intimate relationships. So trying to reconnect with my family and try to find some kind of way to um, have some kind of sustainable relationship that fucking actually means something. Um, I started learning more about myself and more about her and my mom and where they came from, who are they, that woman, and how they perceive things. So, it's fucking pretty fascinating stuff. um, but psychology is one hell of a rabbit hole as well, and it's something that I can't wait to get the fuck out of. Okay, this is what you need. This is what you need to do, and write myself a list and know that that's the best thing for me. So you can kind of dismiss and be passive to other things. You know, um, I don't want to have a relationship with my sister where I'm always thinking, oh shit, I know where this is going. I know where this is going. I know what's coming down the line for, you know, fucking, I got my own life to live. I don't want to constantly be worrying about the things that are gonna happen in her life, and how that's gonna affect her, and what she doesn't see and sees, and because I've been through it. I don't need that kind of pressure in my life. I want to focus on me for a change, and what makes me happy. And I won't even say the word fulfilled, but uh, yeah. What else can we talk about? Um, yeah. So I should have my own place next month. So I'm looking forward to that. My car got repossessed finally. He came to pick it up, so no biggie there. You can see, you can really see the difference. The car took gets, they're out there. I'm out there with the bailiff, and we're shooting the shit. We started talking about working out and steroids, and start talking about drugs. Fucking, we're just, carrying on like a couple of guys, like 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 a day at the office type thing, right? There was no emotion connected to his job. Just, yeah, I take the car, whatever I can do to help make it easier. Just it was very nonchalant, right? But meanwhile, my sister would be in the house like, oh my god, you fucking holy shit, the bailiff and fucking uniform, and my god, the fucking tow truck, and he doesn't have wheels. Like, she's going through this whole fucking thing because for that to happen to her world would be just fucking. She doesn't know how to process something like that. So I sat down and I just started going back on my phone and writing, just carrying on what I was doing. And she comes up and puts my hands on my shoulder. You okay? You okay? I'm like, she's because the way she was approaching me was empathetic and it was emotional. I'm like, yeah, everything's fine. Creeping me out here, right? So there's this huge difference in perspective, right? She felt bad I lost my car, and I'm just like, it's not a big deal, get another one, so, and then it's fun that when we have those conversations now, and it's fucking really, really fun. It's really fun. Sometimes it's frustrating, but she's handling it in stride too, because now, I says each new, the more she evolves, I said, the more you evolve, the more you're going to understand your brother. I'm really not that complicated. It's just there's a lot of life experience here that you haven't seen or felt or pushed through. Like there's, but what she's saying now is like, okay, because she sees this. I won't say change, but her preconceptions of her brother, if anything, they have shattered now, right? Because I'm approaching her in a way she's never seen. I said, this is what I've been doing. This is what I've been working towards. This is the product of that. And you can see this is, it's a very different version of what she's used to. So there's a trust there, right? So trust me, like these are the things you're gonna face. Be open about things that I'm telling you. Think about the things I'm telling you, because there are things that you don't see. And you'll see why I've made the choices that I've made, especially in regards to how I view money and stuff. So. It's been fantastic. I've really enjoyed this time here with her, and things happen for a reason, right? Things happen for a reason. That's kind of a interesting saying. Um, Also, it's I felt burdened for a couple days that it was somehow my responsibility now. Uh, uh, with having more wisdom, um, that was a problem too with my mother. It was this like when you, because our parents had to not dehuman, is that right? I had to humanize my parents. My father, my dad, whatever, my mother. I had to humanize them, right? Because our parents are they're we look up to. A lot of children are fearful of them. A lot of it's you have to let go of that attachment, right, and start seeing them as something other than parents. Once you do that, you can start understanding them as a person, and once you've done that, then you actually can have a real fucking relationship with them. Because you're going to get hit this precipice where you have to make that decision. You have to humanize them, and it's not a disconnection. It's the only way to connect them, right? Or you can just keep living a lie. So that's why a lot of times when you have situations with abuse, all that shitty stuff that happens within families and kids and stuff, and it's ugly and it's horrible, but everyone pretends like nothing happened, right? And the only way everyone can heal from something like that is you have to humanize the parent, right? And have some really hard conversations. I've had some really difficult conversations with my sister. Some completely off topic, things that she needed to know, and that's what it takes. Healthy, loving relationships take fucking difficult, 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 difficult conversations. Unless those conversations happens, it's fake. It's compromise. You're settling on I don't even know what you're settling on. It's just I understand it, but now it doesn't make sense to me. Why would you want that in your life? But I do understand why it is that way. I don't want that for my family. I don't want that relationship with my sister. I don't want that relationship with my mother to be a facade. That's all fine. But when one person kind of grows out of that and heals, it's you guys got two choices, right? Either you kind of join me in this, and I can help you, or we can just pretend that it is what it is, and there is nothing more. You don't want to be closer. You don't want, what do you want? What's your definition of family? What does that look like to you? And what are you willing to do to protect it, to nurture it? So the longest time I had a hard time distinguishing between friends, family, and the person I'm involved with. You guys heard me talk about for years. That was a huge, huge. I always seen them the same. They were all the same to me. I love them all the same. But now through my God, I've come up on another board. Healing, awakening, growing, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Now I understand the differences, right? Huge differences, and you're only going to get that way through going through this. You got to heal and because everything. It's. I'm not coming at you from a spiritual place here. I'm not. I'm coming to you from a very realistic place. I understand, understanding women and their traumas and abuses and how they think, how they, all that kind of stuff. Now she can just be my sister with us. The love is different. The relationship is different. The emotion is different from the one who I love, the woman who shares my bed. This is a completely different thing now with its Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's fucking pretty cool. It's pretty fucking cool. Um, it's a place I never even imagined when I started all this. It's quite what's the feeling I'm looking for? And this isn't autism related. It's just um, because each area still has a lot of things um, that my mind can get into, but I have a nice, clear distinction, a nice little box for them now. Everything used to be in one box. You're all in one box. You're this or you're that, black or white. That's it. You know, and that kind of clarity uh, feels really, really good. It feels really, really good. Um, unless you do that, and there's a lot of reasons why we don't, and fucking fear is the biggest one. Um, Fear is the biggest one. It's huge. It's huge, right? It stops us from doing everything. Everything. Um, if I'm passionate about it, I don't go into it with fear. If I don't do something, it's because I don't have a passion for it. It certainly isn't out of fear, but a lot of people are not like that. Maybe they're, I don't know, I'm just talking about myself here, but fear is the biggest roadblock for anybody. Fear is the biggest roadblock for healing. Fear is the biggest roadblock for success financially, uh, emotionally. Like it's fear. You fucking, that's it. Um, there was something. I don't know. I had a thought and then I lost it. I'll do an edit. So it's an interesting fucking time, you know. I'm actually going to be going into my 5th month of training. Uh, that's definitely a new PR. I last about 4 months, and then I start working, and or thereabouts, and just kind of falls apart. And either I get too wrapped up into my own personal issues and trying to deal with them and lose focus, or the job interferes with that just as strictly as a time thing. I made it a real priority here to make sure that my gym and my job are close together, and I got really fucking lucky. They're 10 minutes from each other, and since I'm at my sister's right now, which is 10 minutes from them, everything is like nice and close, so there shouldn't be any problem finding a place to hang my hat within that vicinity. And that's going to make a tremendous impact on my life in a positive way, because I have everything I need right there. So there shouldn't be any excuses. Um, I can't foresee any holes right now in that. Um, that in itself is going to make a immeasurable difference in my life moving forward. Um, Relationships, I guess talking about love or in that sense, uh, that's going to be quite interesting moving forward. I think I have a pretty sound philosophy of how I'm going to go about doing that and what I'm looking for. um, it's a pretty small window. A lot smaller than I thought it would be. Uh, it's not that the bar is set really high. It's just when you understand. There's not a lot of options. Not a lot of healthy options, let's say, um, because the value just isn't there. You know, to take that chance, but it's important to still aspire to that and still work to better yourself for that goal, right? Because if I simply say, "Oh, it's hopeless. They're all fucking damaged whores and fucking, they're all been fucking abused and they're just there's no saving them," and having that fucking that very negative attitude, uh, I don't think that's a healthy thing to do. It's important to keep working towards that, because like anything in life, anything can happen, right? And given the right variables, the right circumstances, what you thought may have not have been a good idea to begin with, it'll stop you from overlooking what could be. And like, okay, all right, let's. There might be something here. How do we work towards that? And the more wisdom, more life experience and chances that I take, the more wisdom will be the result, the better decisions I can make, and I won't miss the opportunities that come before me that I would otherwise have missed. So, and I'm not, I still have to increase my value too, right? Because a healed woman, or I'll just use that term, a healed woman. Uh, she deserves the best, right? She deserves the best because, from my perspective, a healed woman deserves nothing but the best. And the best is a healed version, is a healed man, a successful man, not only mentally and spiritually and all that shit, but also financially, right? So I still have a lot of work to do. I should say a lot of catching up to attract, the woman that I want. Um, and she doesn't. It's not something that's advertised. Let's say, you know. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that transpires. But also at the same time, it definitely eliminates a lot of distractions, right? You know, given my passion for bodybuilding and the line of work that I'm in, um, there's only kind of one social outlet for me, which will be the gym. So I imagine any dating or relationships are going to come from that space, and the conversations that I have within them, right? So um, I'm really, really excited to fucking start working on my new gym. I'm fucking stoked. The gym is awesome. It has every piece of equipment imaginable. As I'm working towards that $500 pound deadlift, and I'm going to the gym. I'm with my sister. We're taking the tour, and sure enough, they got its fucking platform right there, specifically for fucking deadlifts. I'm like, things happen for a reason. It's gonna happen right there. So yeah, I'm fucking jacked. My sister's like fucking taking on this bodybuilding like a champ. She is focused and determined, and understanding women and understanding her, I can see why that is. Where she's at in life, I understand where that drive is coming from. So it's interesting to kind of stand back and watch how that all play out. She yeah, she doesn't see it in herself, but I'm definitely seeing the evolution of it, and it's pretty exciting. Um, I'm hoping she'll join me, but knowing my sister, I think it'll be once she feels comfortable on her own, and I'm gonna make sure she gets to that point. She'll just go off and do her own little thing. She'll probably stay at Fit for Less, and I'll go do what I got to do. And I think we're gonna. I think that's a healthy thing for us both. I'm not gonna worry about her. She's not gonna worry about me, and we'll meet in the middle. So yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome. Pretty awesome. Oh, what else? Is there anything else? Jeez, I'm talking for an hour. Um, Yeah, it's going to be strange to focus on money. Um, I just have to find a way to be passionate about making money. I just, I've lived my life so long with a certain philosophy to protect myself or otherwise. But at least that'll have my focus now, right? Okay, well, not so much how I go about making millions of dollars, but how do I find a way to be passionate about making $1 million? That's the thing. That's the connection I need. Like, what's gonna make me? I can read a book, I can do research on it, but unless I'm passionate about getting that information and learning that stuff, so it's just because I think, okay, what I don't give a fuck about the big house, the fancy car, the jewelry, the freedom. I already have freedom, so maybe I'm thinking, okay, well, how bad do I want to find that healed woman? How important is that for me? Um, how much of that has been driving all of this? So we'll see. If it means, um, well, I have to find that connection. I have to find that hook, and I kind of have the time to think about that and find that one thing that makes me drive towards being successful in my bank account. I think you guys know what I mean. I think I was rambling there a little bit. Uh, I think that's it. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. So, till I see you guys again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. God bless you all.
In 4 different seasons. People change when they hurt enough they have to, when they see enough they're inspired to, when they learn enough that they want to, and when they receive enough that they're able to. Those are the 4 times that people change.
Will is the key. Willpower. I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. I don't know much as you do, I'm sure. I'm sure everybody in here is more learned than I, much more of a scholar than I. But I know about coming back from seemingly unsurmountable odds. I know about coming back from when doctors tell you that you can't or that you shouldn't. Oh, you're too old. You shouldn't be. You should sit down somewhere and take it easy. Yeah, I got my AARP card in my wallet right now. In the same group. So you should sit down, sir, because of your diagnosis, and don't do a damn thing. Bullshit. Hell no. Every time I go to the doctor, they tell me what I shouldn't be doing, and what I should be doing, and what I won't do, and what I can't do. And I politely go out the door and do whatever the fuck I want to do. And I'm gonna do that until they throw dirt on top of me. This is my life. And I choose to live it the way I want to live it. I won't let you decide how I live this life. I don't care how long or short it is. It's mine, motherfucker. And I'm gonna use it how I see fit. So your stories motivate me. They say, oh, after 35 years of lifting weights and open heart surgery and dying 3 times on the operating table, CT, what motivates you? Your story motivates me. Your story motivates me. The stories of extreme will. People that came through something or circumstances that they were not supposed to go through. You just ain't supposed to be able to do it. But he did it any goddamn way. It is impossible until some crazy son of a bitch has the audacity to believe that no matter what the expert or the doctor says, I can still do that shit. And if you don't believe it, just sit your ass down over there and watch me do it. How do you teach people to not look at something and say immediately, because the appearance, I can't do it, I give up, before they even attempt it? Oh, that's overtraining. Simply because it sounds like more than I ever done before. I can't do that. I won't even try. I won't even try. I give up before I even try. No. Oh, I tried, but I fell short. I tried my best, but I fell short. Is there victory in that? Goddamn right it is. Anytime that you give your best effort, that you give everything that you possibly can give, there is satisfaction in knowing that I did my absolute best. I did all I could do. There's victory in that. There's satisfaction in that. Effort is so important. It is so important. The effort that you give. My last competition, I was unsuccessful in my attempt, but I consider it my greatest competition. Why, CT? You didn't get it. Because the day before that competition, my doctor looked me in the face and he said, if you go out there and you try to bench press 705 pounds, it's gonna kill you. Your valve is too weak, it'll be too much of a strain, it will explode right there on the stage and you're gonna die in front of all them people. That's my doctor told me that. I have trained my whole life for this. I've devoted my life to this. This is the reason for my existence. This is why I am here. And you asking me if I am going to compete? Of course I'll compete. And if I do happen to die on that stage tomorrow, then you know what? So fucking be it. So be it. I'ma do that fucking shit anyway. I'ma do it anyway. I'm gonna go out the king, the ruler, the beast that I was born to